First tonight on our news weekend, investigators are probing an early morning plane crash that killed 2 people on Ragged Island. We've got details, plus another daytime murder leaves a senior member of the police force questioning how many bodies will have to be picked up off the streets. And later, we introduce you to a team of breast cancer survivors who's using a sport to raise awareness. Our news, the weekend edition, starts right now. Welcome to our news, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. We begin in the south tonight. 2 people are dead after a plane crash on Ragged Island just before dawn. The charred remains of 2 passengers were recovered in a wreckage. Police tell us shortly before 5 a.m. officers on that island were notified of the incident that happened just east of the Duncantown airport. RBPF officers, members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Operation Bahamas Turks and Caicos, and the United States Drug Enforcement Agency responded and met a twin engine engulfed in flames. No other details were released about the crash, but it's a story we will continue to follow. The country's murder count inched closer to 100 yesterday afternoon after a man was gunned down and 2 others shot on Market Street. Joshua Williams was there and filed this report.
A violent Saturday saw 3 men shot in 2 separate incidents. One of the victims died, pushing the country's murder count closer to 100. Spot shooter technology prompted police to respond to the scene on West End Avenue. There they found 2 men lying on the ground suffering from gunshot wounds. One died at the scene and the other transported to hospital. Residents could be heard crying. Chief Superintendent Tariko Sweeting of the South Central Police Station providing further details.
A dark-colored Japanese vehicle would have traveled through Western Avenue, turned around and proceeded in a eastern direction towards Market Street, where 2 male occupants emerged from that vehicle and they discharged several gunshots in the direction of a number of persons that were gathered right at our rear. Subsequently, those 2 persons were shot. The gunmen then re-entered that vehicle and they left.
Officers also informing us that there was a shooting incident that occurred in the Pinewood community Saturday morning.
There was a male along with 2 or 3 other persons were in the vicinity that's right in the area of Monteba Church when they was approached by gunmen in a Japanese vehicle again. They was able to open up fire and we sustained some injuries by a gunshot.
With the country's murder count near the triple digits, Assistant Commissioner of Police Roberto Goodman made this passionate plea to residents.
For how many bodies that we have to pick up as police officers each and every day? Is it just our problem as an organization, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, or is the whole society problem? So we need to think introspectively.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. Well, former North Abaco Member of Parliament Darren Henfield is calling for the Davis administration to come clean days after Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis revealed the 2 ports in Abaco will go out for a second request for proposal process. Back in 2023, government issued a RFP for bids to operate both Marsh Harbour and Cooperstown shipping ports. In January, Colby Davis said the RFP process had ended after generating 2 bids for the Cooperstown port, which she said at the time were under review. Henfield telling us that before he left office, he negotiated a deal for the port.
I can speak to the Cooperstown port whilst I was in office because I negotiated with the Americans, a group supported by the Americans, to eventually take management of the port and employ an arm of the Coast Guard that would be used with our defense force to operate from the port in a law enforcement capacity. The other half of the port we wanted to use for commercial aspirations for Abaconians in North Abaco. I don't know if they continue these discussions.
Cooperstown residents who held a town hall and signed a petition last May continued to push for the port's opening. Back in 2014, China Harboring Company began construction on the $39 million port just north of the settlement. Henfield says the port would be a significant boost to the North Abaco economy.
The port is special. It is not the typical kind of port where you just transship items and they're collected and then moved on into other areas, commercial areas or aspects of the community. This is a port where you have the possibilities of breaking down containers and then shipping them onward out of the country. So it is a bulk container port, right? where containers would come in from anywhere in the world, the East, from Europe.
The lack of affordable housing has been a long-standing issue for successive governments, and not just in New Providence, but throughout the Family Islands. Recently, Housing Minister Keith Bell said the government has its work cut out in providing affordable housing in the country, citing a shortage of over 12,000 houses. It's one of the issues Anglican Bishop Leish Boyd addressed during his charge at the 121st opening session of the Anglican Synod early this week at Christ Church Cathedral. Boyd says more needs to be done about housing, especially for young people, specifically pointing to strict regulations from financial institutions.
It is impossible to pretend that we can keep Bahamians in the dark regarding what is happening in this country. We are too exposed and forward-thinking in our ideas, and leadership has to accept that the dated solutions and arguments from the past can no longer carry on. The world is moving forward. Leaders have to adapt or die.
One of the solutions, according to the Anglican bishop, educating the public from as early as the primary school stage about the importance of financial literacy.
The country must be addressed by political leaders in an honest and thought-out way at all times. Petty insults and rallying cries of politics appeal to a dumbed-down national discussion. And that discussion is something that we've outgrown. Educated leaders should not be sending around voice notes, spreading insults, half-truths, and using language that is frankly regressive.
When our news weekend comes back from the break, a two-time breast cancer survivor shares her journey and the mental toll the disease takes on its victims. And modeling with a cause, another survivor shares why she chose to become a brand ambassador years after her battle with the dreadful disease. The details when our news weekend returns.
Long Island is the best kept secret.
Join us as we count down the Rev Up Top 7.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
Welcome to Doctors Hospital West Imaging Suite, where advanced tech meets compassionate care. Our friendly staff guides you on a journey to better health. Through cutting-edge technology, we prioritize accurate diagnostics. Our imaging team ensures your comfort, while our detailed x-rays and advanced CT scans aid precise diagnosis. Our dedicated team ensures minimal wait time and guarantees prompt and efficient care. For more information, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care, now in the West.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a time to reflect on the challenges faced by survivors and the emotional toll of this disease. Tonight, we hear from Dr. Stephanie Hutchinson, a clinical psychologist and associate professor at the University of the Bahamas. She tells Delvado Emmanuel about her personal journey and the psychological impact of the diagnosis.
Twice diagnosed, double mastectomy, chemotherapy for 12 weeks. At some point, people I talk to can kind of plug into one of those experiences.
This is Dr. Stephanie Hutchinson, a 28-year breast cancer survivor. Her battle with breast cancer began during a routine checkup that revealed a small lump. What started as a minor concern quickly escalated into a life-altering diagnosis. Although she emerged victorious from her first fight, the emotional scars remained. A second diagnosis 23 years later brought a new wave of challenges.
I remember when I lost my hair and I realized it really was coming out, that's when I felt like a cancer patient.
Despite the growing awareness around breast cancer, a stigma still persists. Dr. Hutchinson says this often causes people to shy away from talking about their diagnosis.
Because they don't want anybody to know, because I guess the breasts are seen as so sexual. And if you lose them, does that mean that you're still a woman?
All of which took a toll on her mental state.
It's almost like an assault, like my body is betraying me. My body doesn't look like it used to look like. And so you have to kind of, what is my new normal?
As both a survivor and a psychologist, Dr. Hutchinson understands the value of therapy in processing grief and fear.
Once I kind of navigated the treatment, I said, you know what, I need to process, because the grief of her dying and the cancer were kind of all commingled. And so I needed to untangle those.
She leaves this message of hope.
Believe that you can do this. Whatever the diagnosis, whatever stage of diagnosis, because Bahamian women tend to be diagnosed later, live until.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
Thanks, Delvado. A local doctor recently traded her white jacket for the hottest styles, modeling for a local clothing line to raise awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A breast cancer survivor herself, Dr. Abby Jackson, says she was happy to take part in the project. She's also calling for breast cancer awareness to be a year-round push. Joshua Williams tells us more.
This is Dr. Abby Jackson. She's an optometrist who was diagnosed with breast cancer 14 years ago. While she spends time helping others, she has been on the receiving end of medical care.
I started my journey in 2010. I was diagnosed, come from a family history of breast cancer. I have the BRCA gene, so I've had 6 months of chemo, 12 weeks of radiation, TB treatment, reconstructive, and 6 surgeries in total. A lot of times with surgery, you're losing your breast, you're losing other structures, and that affects a woman and her presentation, no doubt about it. So to see companies come out with styles and things that will help to promote what a woman can look like after breast cancer, even during her treatment, is very important.
One of those businesses was Cultured Clothing. They chose Dr. Jackson to be one of their featured models in a recent campaign. She says it's important for women suffering from breast cancer to feel confident in the clothes they wear. Not just a model, Dr. Jackson is also an avid runner who's traveled the world, refusing to let cancer keep her down.
I had 1 year of treatment, and then a year later my doctor said, go home and resume your life. Now, I ran a marathon before treatment. After treatment, I could not run a quarter of a mile. So I had to start rebuilding my body again. And by that second year, I ran the New York Marathon, and I've been running ever since. So I've ran at least over 21 full marathons and several half marathons.
She has this advice to women that are still in the fight.
If you're diagnosed with it, please get proper advice. from your healthcare provider and the persons that you've seen. Don't listen to people who've never walked the journey, but pay attention to your health, get good advice from your doctors, and do what you need to do. Now, some of us are not going to live. I mean, that's just a reality. I know people who have fought, who have done treatment, who have done. But I tell people, you know, God has given us all the time.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. Those battling breast cancer can encounter emotions of discouragement and hopelessness. In recent years, survivors of the disease have made the decision to grab a paddle and become a lighthouse of hope by using a popularized sport. Danielle Miller tells us more.
Earlier this month, the Bahamas Chinese Dragon Boat Association hosted their annual Dragon Boat Festival. During the festival, we met a group of women from Canada whose high energy stood out. What makes these ladies so unique is the fact that their passion for the sport is fueled by their stories of survival.
I am a breast cancer survivor in my 25th season on the team, and these are my teammates.
Established in 1998 in Hamilton, Ontario, the team, not abreast, hold 3 world champion titles in the sport. The group of warrior women are just one of several teams that travel around the world, not only to compete in the races, but to prove that cancer doesn't incapacitate you from athleticism, but provides a source for renewed strength in the fight.
Beginning of dragon boating and breast cancer is associated with a Dr. Dawn McKenzie out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and there was a research that was done that upper body strength and exercise would actually help lymphedema, and there was no correlation. As a breast cancer patient, you could still exercise, and so breast cancer, dragon boating became associated with breast cancer.
The Traveling Sisterhood defines themselves as a floating support group, encouraging not only their teammates, but all survivors to live their best lives.
Our next international competition is in Aix-les-Bains in France. And we're pretty excited. We paddled in Sarasota, we paddled in Florence, Italy, and we paddled in New Zealand. And so, yes, we have been worldwide.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle. Still to come on Our News Weekend, the Animal of the Week returns. We introduce you to Frisco, a young pup in need of a loving home.
Jazz and the Yankees dropped Game 2 of the World Series, and we talk about some NBA hoops. Our Sports Weekend is next.
Last week, the principal, Mr. Bethel, reached out to us and asked for a total of 5 laptops. After further investigation that he needed more to complete the computer lab, and now we're here today to donate the full 25 laptops.
We realize in the business of education, we need partners. And companies like General Investment have proven themselves.
They are so excited about this to get the laptops.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health.
Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Hey, you going with me to the store?
No, that's straight. My boy got me.
And I'm cool.
Good evening, happy Sunday. I'm Tage Adderley, and we are back with our sports weekend. Jazz and the New York Yankees played Game 2 of the 2024 World Series last night, losing 4-2 to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's see what happened. Jazz and the Bronx Bombers are in an 0-2 hole in the World Series after last night's loss. He went 1-for-4 with a single, but he was stranded on base and couldn't capitalize, and that was one of only 4 hits that the Yankees had in the game. Juan Soto was the only Yankee to score. He hit a home run for the Yankees, and he scored on a Giancarlo Stanton single in the 9th inning to give the game its final score. The 0-2 is a rough spot for any team to climb out of, but the Yankees will try to get something going when the series resumes tomorrow in the Bronx. Now we're going to take a look around the NBA where a couple of behemoths took the floor last night. Klay Thompson is proving to be a valuable addition for the Dallas Mavericks. The 6'7" shooter scored 19 points on 7 of 16 shooting, but it wasn't enough to get the win. The Mavericks lost 114-102 to the Phoenix Suns. And Kai Jones got limited burn in the Rockies. He grabbed 2 boards and spiked a block shot in only 4 minutes of play before the LA Clippers head coach Ty Lue decided to bench him for the rest of the game. Whatever Lue was thinking, he was right. They won 109-104 to beat the Denver Nuggets. Some more behemoths hit the court today. Eric Gordon and the Sixers played the Pacers earlier. DeAndre Ayton and the Blazers are wrapping up against the New Orleans Pelicans. And Buddy Hield and the Warriors will tip off against Kai and the Clippers within the next hour. That'll do it for sports this evening. For our sports weekend, I'm Tage Adderley. Have a great week.
Thanks, Tage. When we come back from the break, we share the incredible healing journey of a young pup at the Bahamas Humane Society. The details when our news weekend returns.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group along with Alpha Sounds present the best of the best Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year, featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Shaw, Shine 242, The Falcon, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Breezes Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack location. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
If you want a real nice, tasty Bahamian dish, there's a place on the fish fry you can't resist. You can watch the sunset out on the beautiful deck. Eat a juicy conch salad made by the contact technician. When they ask me where I earn by the conch. When they ask me where I earn by gold. When they ask me where I earn by the conch. When they ask me where I earn by Goldies. Arawaki is king of conch. We earn by Goldies. Arawaki is king of conch. We earn by Goldies. Arawaki is king of conch. We earn by Goldies. Arawaki is king of conch. We earn by Goldies.
Goldies Conch House, Arawaki, 325-4300. That's Goldies Conch House, Arawaki, 325-4300.
This November 5th, millions of Americans will decide in a race that will define history. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in a fight to the finish.
Perhaps not since the Civil War has this great country felt as politically, spiritually, and emotionally divided as it does then at this moment.
The world is watching, and so are we. Starting November 3rd, Our News is live from the U.S. with a Bahamian perspective because our news is everywhere, always there when it counts.
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. Windy conditions outside the Our News studios today. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now with this week's forecast. Ian.
Thanks, Berthany, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Sunday evening forecast. We had a pretty lovely day across the country. Outside our studios on the partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 79. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Feels like temperature comfortable at 81. Current temperatures across the country: 74 in Freeport, 78 in Alistown and Nicholstown, as well as Great Harbour Key and in Governor's Harbour, 79 in the capital, 76 in Marsh Harbour. The Central Bahamas, 80 in Camps Bay, 79 in Georgetown and Arthurstown, 81 in Deadman's Key, and 78 in Coburn Town, San Salvador. Southeast Bahamas, 83 in Duncan Town, as well as Providenciales, 82 in Matthewtown, 80 in Delectable Bay, pair of 81s in Colonel Hill and in Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana. Satellite and radar imagery right now, we have a few clouds streaking across our area courtesy of the persistent northeasterly flow. High pressure dominant weather feature across our area, producing mostly stable conditions. Looking at the tropics right now, again in the Central American gyro area, the southwestern Caribbean Sea, potential is gonna bump up, expected to about mid to the end of the week. And in our backyard, just to the east of the southeast Bahamas, by the end of the week into early next week, there is a chance for a possible development. So we want to continue to monitor those areas. Boating forecast, not a good one for this week. Continuing with those cautions for you small craft operators and beachgoers as well. High risk for rip currents, winds northeast to east 15 to 20, plus north seas 4 to 7, high in those swells. Low tide 11:43 p.m., high tide at 5:51 a.m. tomorrow morning. And in your extended forecast, expect some showers around the area through about midweek, gradual clearing from midweek into the next weekend. Highs only getting up into the mid to low 80s with your lows in the mid to low 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun week, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Last week, we introduced you to Lucky, a young pup up for adoption and ready for his very own home. In our final story tonight, we're taking a look at a dog still on the road to recovery. Marlena Leonard introduces us to Frisco.
This is Frisco, and while he's noticeably still on the skinny side, he's progressed leaps and bounds since he first came into the Bahamas Humane Society on September 3rd, after Good Samaritans called the Humane Society about a dog in dire need of help. Viewers may find this video distressing, but this is a look at how Frisco's journey began. Found under a house, vets believe Frisco was bitten by a centipede multiple times, leaving burst abscesses that got horribly infected, damaging bones in his larynx, giving him a hoarse and quieter bark. Not only that, vets also had to tackle his other medical issues, like heartworm and 2 other tick-related diseases. Supervisor at the Bahamas Humane Society, Marcian Pinder, tells us a little bit about Frisco, saying he's been an absolute sweetheart since day one.
He's a sweet dog. He loved to sit in chairs. He loved to play. He's friendly. He's very nice. Good with other dogs. I'm not sure how he is with cats, but otherwise he's very playful, very kind, very loving.
He recently took a big step in his road to recovery, being cleared to join the dog walking group.
Obviously, he's still got a lot of weight to gain in this journey. How far do you think he is from being ready to go home with someone?
I mean, I would say give him another 3 weeks to a month or more. Hopefully by then his skin should be fully recovered and his face should be quite 100% healed.
If you want to be part of Frisco's healing journey, there are a number of ways you can help.
You can donate towards his medical health issues and stuff like that. They could come in and spend some time with him. They could take him out for walks. They could come in and feed him if they want to. They could come in and foster him if they like to and all if they want to. I mean, it's anything what you could do to help, we'd be really appreciated, and Frisco will gladly appreciate it too as well.
Reporting for Our News, Marlena Leonard.
Thanks for that story, Marlena. And thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend tonight on behalf of the entire team. I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Make it a great week, everyone.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.